You are tuned into the Power Chord Hour right here on 107.9 WRFA, as well as the Power Chord Hour podcast. Or if you're watching us on YouTube, however you're checking this out, thanks for checking it out. And we return today with another one. I got Matty Grace with me once again, making her fourth return, if I'm remembering that correctly. Fourth. Oh, yeah. We're almost at 5 now. God.
Yeah.
And today we'll be talking about many things, but the big one, a brand new solo record out now, Cheap Shame. And as you're listening to this, that is out now everywhere. So, I almost said happy release day. It's not happy release day, but I mean, happy, I guess, release week. I'm
Happy
talking like 3 or 4 days.
Yeah. Long time coming. I've been working on that record for like 3 years.
Holy shit.
Yeah. Cause normally I like turn stuff around fast and I don't like take my time. And this one like saw through a bunch of mental health cycles and like life changes and all this shit. And I still like the songs. So like, that's cool. But yeah, I honestly like Dirt Cult Records is putting it out. There should be vinyl sometime this year, which I'm excited for. I just finished the art and the layout for it this week. And, you know, like I wanted to do something a little different because all the solo stuff is very like scattered. It's whatever I feel in the moment. And this was very much like, I wanted to make a 90s style emo record, but like make it a little bit power pop. And so that's, I think I did it, and that's cool. And like, I have the next thing written and I'm working on it. And if it takes 3 years, then it's cool and worth it. I'm excited. The response has been really good. And like, I don't normally like celebrate stuff like that, like celebrate or like because it's always like I'm on to the next thing.
Yeah.
And my partner was like, hey, your record's coming out, do you want to do anything for it? And I was like, what do you mean? Like it was like a completely foreign question to me. And so like she and I had dinner and we invited a couple of friends to House of Targ, and it was like, and then like I had worked that day and like had some pain stuff, and I was like, okay, let's go. And then after we left, a bunch of people showed up, and I was like, oh, I ruined my own surprise.
Oh no.
But yeah, it was fun. When Chris approached me about like when we talked about putting the thing out, Chris Mason, who runs Dirt Cult, he's like, when do you want to put it out? And I was like, I don't know. Wait. Oh, April Fool's Day. It's called Cheap Shame. Put it on April Fool's Day. Like, let's go. And then I didn't realize that Trans Day of Visibility was the day before. I missed an opportunity. But sometimes you just got to commit to the bit, you know?
I was going to ask, honestly, even the Tuesday part, which I forgot about the April Fool's, but I was like, I liked it because it feels like a throwback. Because I mean, Friday is release day. I was going to say Tuesday in my heart, Tuesday will always be release day.
It was
forever.
That's how it was. And then all of a sudden when I stopped paying attention, it became another day. And now I'm confused. Like
I knew your album. I knew it was coming out on Tuesday, and I still had to double check because I'm like, am I just like making that up? Because again, I'm thinking of Tuesday release, and I'm like, let me make sure it's not Friday. And it was Tuesday.
I like that as a layer in the thing. It's part of the lore. It's like, it's a throwback.
Yeah, just releasing it Tuesday, just a throwback, a TBT.
Oh my God. Throwback Tuesday. Put your record out on a Tuesday. I remember the moment when I learned that all of that like the Billboard charting stuff is like kind of made up. Was I walked into the record store in my hometown, which at the time was called Records on Wheels. And I walked in and there was a chart of all of the top selling albums. And the top album came out like the day, like it was already the top selling album. And I was like, how?
Yeah.
And the guy was like, oh, it's just how it is. And I'm like, but it came out today. Like, how do you have this? Like, how did you get that number with this? And then I learned that it's all made up. So
yeah, that may, I mean, at least wait a week or two after it's like been released, at least like, kind of play into it a little.
If you're going to try to dupe the fucking like the masses of the public, try to give us some credit.
Yeah.
Like, don't let us just like poke holes through things because you're like, well, this is an obvious flaw.
Watch Cheap Shame be like next week, like #1 on the Billboard Hot 100.
I'm a nerd for like the statistics of the streaming stuff because like it's so you make so little from it, but it gives you a really cool insight into like listening habits and where people are coming from with stuff. But Apple Music shows you when people Shazam your song, and I think that's the coolest shit. When
That's
somebody
pretty
like, because like that's like active listening. You're like, I like what this is enough that I will Shazam it and like take an extra step and probably re-download it and like do the whole thing. That almost feels like as valuable as like, oh, somebody listened to this song 10 times.
That's actually, I never thought of that, but you're right. Like with the whole Shazam, because it's like you are actively listening. So it's like, oh shit, yeah, like it's not something in the background. You actually got to pull your phone. You have to like it enough to like not be a fleeting thought. It's like, let me pull this out, look it up real quick. So yeah, that warmed my heart, I think.
Yeah, totally. Try to commit it to memory. That's an endearing quality. If somebody does that while you're like out at dinner or something, you're like, okay, you're cool.
That's a nice way to your statistics now.
Yeah.
Again, maybe you'll be on you may be #1 on the Hot 100 here in the next couple.
That would be so sick because like I recorded all of my parts for this record on a 2012 MacBook while I couldn't sleep when I first moved to the city I live in. And so like, that's rad. Like working with what you got. And then like also so much of this record, like I owe to Jordy. Like Jordan Bell, who played drums on the record, was in Crusades and Creeps and Fossil Record is this new thing. And Oswald Park was a solo Pandemic thing. I reached out to him out of the blue and was like, hey, you want to play drums on this? And he's an excellent audio engineer. He worked on the new Tom Green series that has come out. Yeah, he did audio for some of that stuff. Nice. He's a sweetheart. We met a million years ago and got along, and it was great. And he's like, yeah, I'll play drums on the record if I can mix it too. And I was like, yes, like let's go. And then got a couple other folks to like contribute stuff. Like Becca from Cluttered sings on pretty much the whole record, and there's a song on the B-side called Tournament of Parts, and it actually has James from Weekend Dads and Hemingways and Chris from Talk Show Host does like a ripping guitar solo in it. And I was like, yeah, I want my friends on it. And originally, like, I had planned for every song to have guests. And really? I got too mentally ill to finish it. And I feel really bad because it was like Eric and Alicia. Sorry, there's a lot of ways to say the same thing. Like from Chiller and Feral Trash and other Dirt Cult bands, and like Dave and Emmanuel from Crusades. I had bugged them about it, and Steve Adamick and all these people that I like love and admire. And I was like, yeah, sorry, I'm too sick in the head. So.
Well, we've got in here though. We have the full. Were you like actively working? I know you said 3 years ago. Have you been actively working on those 3 years? You kind of like pick it up, play with a little bit, go right because you've been releasing so much album in between, so much music in between.
That was written as kind of a like a completed idea and thought, and then I like had finished the songs and kind of like sent them away. It started writing it after the last year Cluttered played Pouza Fest in Montreal, and the first song I wrote was a song called Hopeless Dramatic, and it's like I wrote it and I was like, oh, this is kind of interesting, and I wanted to use more clean guitars and make it a little more like shimmery and shit. And I wrote Hopeless Dramatic and I was like, I don't know how I feel about this song, but like it's cool. And I usually write things in blocks of 2, so everything kind of has like a companion piece. And the next song I wrote was I Don't Know, I'm Not a Therapist, which is one of the singles and like the second song on the record. And when I played that song for people being like, hey, I just wrote this thing, they were like, this is really like different and good. Like you should follow this. And so it encouraged me to kind of like finish the thing. and there's a cover on it because I thought 12 songs. I was like, wow, 12 songs is a lot. How am I gonna like assemble this in a way that it's cohesive and makes sense and all this stuff? And I was like thinking about a friend of mine who's no longer with us, but they used to play in this really sweet band called Doggo. Doggo were like an awesome, like, you know, pop punk band, but like in that like reviver kind of world. They have 2 tapes, very much worth checking out. But the song "Long Day," that's a Doggo cover. Like, and it was just like when I think it was maybe Servo from Loaded Cat. I had sent him the record, and he's like, I like how you just throw in like a pop punk song in the middle of the fucking thing. And I'm like, yeah, it just, you gotta remind people where you come from, you know?
It just happens.
Just happens.
A punk song here in
Yeah.
the middle. I like, because I mean, you've put out other solo releases. This is your first full length, right? This is the first solo full length.
Yeah, first full length. First solo full length, and first full length in like, oh, maybe ever.
Really?
Out of Controller would have been the last time. Out of Controller, Television Zombie was the record I was on. But like, that was 2013.
Holy shit. That has been a while.
How was that
then? Is that easier or harder doing? I mean, I guess because that's the thing, is you put out a lot of music, but if you're not putting out a lot of full lengths, was it harder doing that or to make it easier?
I think the thing that got me was, it wasn't like I didn't want to put it full length. There's a cluttered full length written. It just getting it to, you know, through all the steps to finish it. Like, it's really hard. Crisis Party has a full length coming this year. So like, that's exciting. And like, that'll be easier, I think, to swallow than the first one. But like, for it to be a solo thing, for it to have like good production, and for it to also like be the first full length I've put out in 12 years, like, wild shit. Wild shit.
Does that make it with like song selection? Because I mean, you know, if you're doing like a 4 or 5 song EP, obviously if you have too much, you got to start cutting some of the fat. Like, is that easier doing the full length? Is that easier at all being like, I don't have to keep this to 5 or 6? You know what I mean? Like, obviously you have more to play with. Does that make it easier at all?
It's
with the track listing and stuff?
Yeah, like sort of. I think I'm fortunate. Not as much lately, because I just it's been trickier to, like, I've just had a little bit of writer's block, but like also I've been working on all this other stuff, so like I haven't been sitting down as much to just write. But I'm rarely at a point where I don't have something, or like can't come up with something, or like, you know, there are extended periods of time where I'm like, I hate everything I write or touch or whatever. But like, you know, this record came out, there's another full length coming. Like,
oh, fuck yeah.
Yeah. And it's like, this one, there was a review for it that I read today that was really, really nice. And it talks about it being like uplifting and cathartic and all this stuff. The next record is like the bleakest shit I've ever written. Like,
time to get dark.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It's like, not, I'm sure I'll talk about this again, but like the tentative title is Survival Instinct Catastrophe. And it comes from a song on that record that I wrote, which is about, it's called Apology Song. And it's about, you know, when you get like so depressed that you stop answering all your text messages for like 6 months, and then you have to do the apology tour and be like, hey, I don't hate you. I just kind of suck at being a person. That song is about that, but there's a line in it which is tuning out from reality is survival instinct catastrophe. And I was like, that's the name of the album.
I like that. That was a good title.
Yeah. So nice. Jordy's going to play drums on it again. I got to get it sent away, but like, you know, same deal. Even if it takes 2 years instead of 3 years, that's still progress, you know?
Oh yeah. Even 3 isn't bad, because again, it's not like you didn't have other things coming out in between.
Well,
I mean,
other bands, and like, you know, I was putting out singles just at random. like, hey, I wrote this song. Okay, blamp.
But I kind of like, I got to say, and I got to give you props on it. I think some musicians will just go, I just write shit. Let me go throw everything in a fucking like all together. And it's like, well, I mean, the consistent, because all that stuff may be good, but maybe it doesn't work all together. I like with you that you can go, this works in this project, this works over here. You're not just
Yeah.
writing a song and going, all right, now we got another track for this album. Like, I think it
And I,
makes it, you don't muck up your like discography. I think doing it the way
I,
you do it.
I try. Thank you. I try really hard. That's actually something that I like. Um, I don't maybe it's not like maybe saying like think about is like the wrong way to phrase it, but it's something I'm conscious of for sure. Um, so Crisis Party recorded a full length in like November, and we're working on finishing it up. And in the meantime, I've written a 4-song EP that I would like us to try to do something with. And it was just like those songs couldn't go into anything else. Like the way that they're structured and they sound, it fits in this. And I always worry with the solo stuff because like this record sounds like this, and there's like an acoustic collection and the Winter Trash stuff and garage punk shit and all of this stuff. And I'm like, oh, it's a little disjointed, but each individual release is cohesive.
Yes.
So even if the catalog is varied, then you're like, hey, this one thing I like and the other thing is a little different. And you can kind of like, it's almost like cataloging it a little bit.
It's way easier to digest because, again, if you just have like a, I don't know, 15-song album where it's like there's bits and pieces that like people, and again, maybe they like all of it, but there's something, again, it's just like with sequencing an album. There's something to be said about sequencing it right, because if you don't, maybe they're good songs, but they don't fucking like flow well. Same thing with albums.
There are bands that I love, and I'm so like sometimes when they're like we're doing a new record, I'm like, hell yeah. Like when Gaslight Anthem was like, we're gonna do a new record, I was like, okay, cool. And then I was like, okay, I like a bunch of this, but like there's something that like it doesn't hit the way that like Sink or Swim hit me, or like Cedar and the Queen or 59 Sound even, like. And I was just like, did I get out of touch, or like is it just that like things are different now, you know?
It's hard to tell. Now that's another interesting thing, and I guess and I mean, it just depends artist to artist, but yeah, the whole, am I no longer into this, or is it just that where it's like maybe the band should just put out an EP? Maybe they don't, maybe that idea like we need to put out an album every couple years, like I also think there's something to be said about a band who's like, no, we'll just either release a few things or you won't get another album for another 10 years. But I'm like, if you don't put out 6 dog shit records in between, I would rather have it spaced out, but have really good records.
There's Dillinger 4, the best example of that. They haven't put out a record since like what, 08? Civil War was 08?
I think 08 was the last one.
You know, they have the comp of the early singles and the Mutant Pop 7-inch, and then, you know, the 4 full lengths. But like, better run of 4 records in a row than Midwestern Songs, and then Versus God, and then Situationist Comedy, and then Civil War. Like,
so fucking good.
If they never release another thing or put out another record, what a fucking legacy, right? Like, you're just like, oh, like these songs stand the test of time. They're so good that Green Day stole from them.
Like, I think twice, actually.
Yeah.
So Green Day ripped them off twice.
Oh, that's a good shirt. That's a good shirt.
Still one of my favorite shirts I've ever had, and I think I still have it somewhere, is the one where it says, I don't know if you've ever seen it, it's Dillinger 4 are leftists, and it's Tinder. It's the Tinder 4.
Yeah.
It's still one of my favorite shirts of all fucking time.
I had one that was toilet D4 in the New York font. I had that for a bunch of years. I have a hoodie right now that's like a bald eagle with like a stick of dynamite saying "staying alive," and I'm just like, this is so good, so good.
We got some of the best. I mean, the best we've talked about before. Maybe the best songs, the best song titles, the best lyrics, the best merch. Like Dillinger 4. But again, they're not throwing out shit all the time. I know that it's well thought out, and like I feel like they care about their legacy. They're not just like, oh, let's just throw a T-shirt out. Let's just throw out a single. It's like thought out.
Even okay, so hypothetically, say there's another record coming, or they do another record. I don't really care if they wrote it in the last year or the last 12 years or the last 6 months or whatever. Like, whatever comes out is going to be so like um like perfect by design,
Yeah.
that like, come at me, you wrote this 6 months ago, hell yeah, like I don't care, like I don't. And I guess that's kind of like an outdated, archaic notion, is like, I've been sitting on these songs for so long and I don't know where they go. And then like 20 years pass and you get an unreleased record or something. Um, I can see how that happens, but like with the accessibility of shit, and where most of the time you're like, hey, do you even play shows? You have to have a demo. Like, it's rare when something just like completely goes unheard.
Yeah. No, I would love another Dillinger 4 record. But again, I like that idea that whatever they put out, I'm with you. I'm going to be excited, and I'm not going to be like, oh, those last three, things they put out throughout the years weren't very strong. Like, remember those three singles that you forgot they put out
Yeah.
every 5 years? It's like, no, instead of that, it's like, oh, if they're putting it out, I'm going to trust it's good, because I don't think D4 is putting out a record at this point unless it's good.
No, exactly. And like, this is no slight, but they're not going to fall into the guided by voices trap.
Too many records, too many of them.
Some classic fucking songs, and then you're like, oh my god, keeps going.
6 albums in a year. Yeah, D4 not the
No,
they're not the other, they're not that, they're another Midwest band, but they're not releasing 7 fucking
no,
albums in a year.
no. They're different people.
But no, I'm with you on that. You don't seem to have that problem. You can release music all the time, and it doesn't seem to be releasing music every year. It's not a
I really appreciate that. Yeah, part of it is just being split into so many projects, and like, I have a lot of feelings, and I don't process them well unless I write them into songs. So
it's a way to get them out. It's kind of, which
yeah,
again, I like that idea too, of like the way you're releasing them, not just throwing a bunch of songs on. It's like, if you're feeling this way, I feel like it's a time capsule, or it's a capsule of whatever you were feeling at that time. You can probably hear those whatever songs are on the EP. Those 4 or 5
absolutely.
songs represent it pretty well.
This like Cheap Shame's really interesting because like so much has changed in 3 years. Like, my life is just different, and like I know that's the same for everybody, because like culture is exploding. We're all gonna be hurled into the sun sooner than later. But like, I went from leaving a place I lived for 17 years, and like essentially leaving a band that was doing pretty well and I was enjoying playing in, and starting over, and all of the pitfalls that come with like starting over, but then like also meeting a lot of really awesome people, and like getting connections to do things like play with fucking Laura Jane Grace. Like,
Fuck
okay, yeah. Like, if I had stayed in Halifax, that never would have happened. And so like, okay, like, as much as things feel bad all the time, because they do, there are cool things that happen that make it like a little bit less, horrifically bleak.
No, sometimes you got to make those. I don't know. Sometimes you're going to make those changes, those jumps. Sometimes they're uncomfortable, but like that, you get those little reinforcement things. Like you're saying, like you play a Laura Jane Grace, may not have happened had you not made that move.
No.
You know?
And like, somebody asked me once, they were like, what advice would you give to like a younger trans person? I was like, if you feel like you're stagnating, move. And I was like, not trying to be a dick about it, but like, it was kind of fresh after I'd moved, and I was like, oh, this is why people relocate. Like, sometimes you just need a change.
Oh, 100%.
And like, if you try something and you don't like it as much, what is stopping you from going back?
There's always that too. Yeah, you can always go back. There's always, like, people don't think about that. Like, you can leave your hometown and come back. You can go wherever you want. You can always, it's always there.
Yeah, and like, if that's why you try to not burn too many bridges when you fucking leave.
That too.
Because you're like, oh, when I go back, I feel like it's all skeletons in my closet. And it's like, well, maybe if you weren't such an asshole, like, this wouldn't have happened.
You're right. If you think like I was fucking better than them all, I left them all in the dust and stuff. It's like, yeah, you're gonna be coming back like fucking with your tail between your legs, all sad and stuff. Like, maybe don't burn the bridges, and go explore what's out there. But yeah, don't be an asshole about it.
Yeah, and like, okay, you got to regroup. we live in this economy. Regrouping is definitely part of this shit now. Like, cool. Fucking regroup and move again. Like, whatever.
It's kind of like maybe this is a weird comparison, but it's like with music, and I think like I don't know, maybe there's a weird connection, but like the Taking Chances, where it's like you can write an album that sounds like this, or it was heavily influenced by this. Doesn't mean you always got to write every album like that. You can fucking go back and make a pop punk record tomorrow. You go make a fucking weird folk punk record. You go make a weird experimental, like whatever. You can always go back to the fucking
Yeah.
foundation. It's always still there.
And people love a throwback when you like
TBT.
yeah, exactly. Oh, jeez. When you explore something different, and then you're like, either you play old songs in this new format, or you like, I tried this for a record, and you go back to the other thing. Like, some folks find that really endearing.
It does. No, it really does. Like that revisiting. I don't know. I think sometimes, do you ever find that with like, I don't know, I guess you don't have name like bandmates and stuff, but like in bands, do you ever get that where like some people are afraid of like, well, no, we can't change this, or we can't play with this formula. And it's like, no, we could go back. Like if it doesn't work, we can always fucking go back. It's okay. It's okay.
I think I'm pretty guilty of that sometimes, because like I get the purist mentality where I'm like, this is the only way it can be. But like Rumination here, which is a band that's put together to like play some of my solo songs as like a full band thing. And this song Distance and Composure on Cheap Shame, when we play that as a full band, it has like a full on like Sunny Day Real Estate breakdown at the end.
Ooh.
Yeah, it's dope. It's like Shotmaker, Sunny Day Real Estate, kind of like da 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 da.
Oh, fuck
and
yeah.
It's so much fun. But then I listen to it on the record and it just dead stops. And I'm like, both are good, but like when you see it live, you'd want the like rock out outro, right? Like
How much of this album, I was going to ask that too, about like with the live stuff, have you been able to play like a lot of this record, like how much of this record has been played live already versus how much you still got to play out live?
I've been playing Great Canadian Going Out of Business Sale, another D4
D4, I love the reference. I got it instantly.
Good. Yeah, I've been playing Business Sale pretty much since I wrote it. I don't think it's left the set since I wrote it.
Oh, wow.
Go through the record in my head. I don't know. I'm not a therapist. It's one I was trying to play for a long time, but I kept fucking it up a lot. Like I have to write the first line of the song on the set list. Otherwise I can't remember how the song goes. But that's been in the set for a bit. I've never played Stick the Landing live. It's the only song on the record that's in half step down, like on guitar. And I used to play in Cluttered's almost all in half step down. Like I used to do it a lot. And when I moved, I was like, I'm going to just try playing it standard just for the sake of it. But that's like a holdover from that stuff. And I'm like, that song's cool, but like, do I tune down and re-capo, or do I have to bring another guitar? And I'm a little lazy. So
For one song too, that's the only song?
For the only song. And then like, it's not worth it. But then like, okay, so what if I bring a second guitar and then we play a couple cluttered songs in the thing? That's different. That's almost worth doing.
That justifies it if you throw in a few more. I would say that justifies as long as you throw in a few other ones. For one song, though, I'm with you. I'm too lazy to bring a second fucking guitar just for a different tuning.
No, and like one, if you have a block, you're like, this is the half step down block. You put the guitar on, you play the block, you take the thing off. Done. But yeah, it's very like, I don't know. And I hate saying that I'm lazy. It's just like, like the idea of like moving gear in your 30s already is just like, it's like the necessary evil of the thing to make it happen. You do it and you rarely complain about it, but like sometimes it's annoying.
I mean, a whole second, I don't know. It's another guitar that could get lost or stolen, or you could just ram it into a wall or something. It's like, it's just one less thing you got to worry about. It's one less thing I'm having anxiety about if I only have to bring one.
I live a very cartoon character life. Shit just happens sometimes. And then you're like, I didn't mean to torpedo the guitar, but somebody made fun of me, so I threw it at them. And then you're like, okay.
Yeah, so no, I think it's, I don't know, yeah, if it's only like one song, but I like that. If you like do a little, a nice little slice of the set, that maybe makes a
Yeah.
little more sense. Do you think you're gonna have a record release at all for this? Do you have any plans of
Yeah,
that? Or
yeah. Once we get a time frame on the records themselves, the physical ones, um, I've actually been planning it this week.
oh fuck yeah.
The idea that we're gonna do hopefully is a full band Matty set with hopefully Jordy who played drums and probably Davey who also performs as the male nurse playing bass and maybe just as a 3-piece thing. And I would love if some of my old friends from the East Coast came up to play. So I've already asked a band.
Nice.
And then I'm just gonna find some up and coming kind of younger queer band, and we'll play a show together. And realistically, I wanted at House of Tard because it's a place I work and I really care about, and it's great for the community here, and it sounds awesome. And there's pinball, so it's real fun. But hopefully that's by the end of the year. Once I get a time frame, I'll book a date, and then I won't shut up about it for a few months.
Yeah, I'm trying to think, because I mean, again, obviously we talked when you've had different releases, but do you normally do record release shows? Is that we were talking about, you even the celebrating part where you're you don't even compute the part where I should celebrate this record?
The closest thing to a record release show that I've done in forever was the year that Cluttered and Talk Show hosted the Enemy Us split.
Oh yeah.
Both bands were playing at Pooza Fest. So I invaded their set to do 18 hours, and Chris played with Cluttered and did that. And then during the solo set I played the song that Talk Show host didn't play. So we covered the whole EP over 3 sets, which now in hindsight, I'm that's very funny. But Century Egg, when we released our EP, we played a release show, but memories are a little hazy. I think that might have been a show that we played in a shipping container.
Oh wow.
yeah, that was a thing for a minute.
I've never seen a show in a shipping container. That sounds fucking pretty cool, actually.
Aesthetically, it's awesome. That's all I'll say.
I'll have to remember that next time I see a shipping container show coming up. I remember it'll probably look cool. It'll look fucking cool if I show up.
It sounds kind of weird. Okay.
Oh yeah, I could see it maybe being echoey, reverberating.
I'm annoyingly loud anyway, so when it comes to being in a tin can, it's not a good look.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess my mind, the more I'm thinking about a shipping container, the more I see problems. The more I'm even seeing monitors and stuff being a problem.
Fortunately, oh wait, I played in a shipping container earlier last summer too. Oh wow, yeah. There's a thing in Ottawa that's an open mic, but it's done by this group, and they have a thing called The Shed, and it's basically a shipping container thing. And when I played it, the person who was doing sound blew up the PA. And before I played, fortunately, one of my friends who came to visit is Will Schatz. Will Schatz was Metz's tour tech, and tours for tour techs for Chilliwack, a big old Canadian band, and Gob, and all that shit. And he was there, and he's trying to get the PA to work. Yeah, it's toast. And then we figured out what happened, which she plugged my guitar amp directly into the board instead of miking it. And then he's setting up he's do you need a monitor? And I was I can get by with that one. He's great. And he's assembling the thing so that I can sing into the PA and everything's okay. And I hear him say, we're going to DIY it. And then Tony, the drummer in Crisis Ready, goes, she's probably more comfortable with that anyway.
DIY. Baby.
It was funny because in the contract for that thing, they were here's your artist fee plus tips. And I was what? That's so I am a clown only here to entertain. And so I learned begging for tips by Dear Landlord. And earlier, as I arrived, they were like, "We're so happy to have somebody from the punk scene here." Blah blah blah. And at one point, I swore like very aggressively in the banter, and they were like, "Keep it clean." And I realized I couldn't play the cover anymore. So then I had to explain to people that I was told I'm not allowed to swear, therefore I cannot play the cover. And I was just like, oh, this is the fucking dumbest thing ever.
My God. I don't know why all of that made me think of this, but have you played on a boat? Because that's kind of, you're talking about shipping containers.
Okay,
Boats have become a thing.
Almost. Last year there was a show for a friend's 40th birthday, and I played the after party. Crisis Party and Zeal played the after party at Targ, but earlier in the day it was like the Slads from Philadelphia and Béton Armé from Montreal playing on a boat. So like a bunch of like oi bands on a boat. I want to do that.
Yeah.
I had to work. I was like, I'm gonna go to the boat.
I've still never seen a show on it. I see them happen more and more. And yeah, I was wondering that as you were talking about a shipping container, I'm like, you see them on ships. I have seen that more and more. Some of them docked, and then some of them actually out there, like, you know.
I mean, there's those fucking cruises. Some of those are cringy as like does that Dropkick Murphys cruise
I think they are doing one.
Does it only go to Boston? Is that how that works?
It's the only place it goes.
It just goes to Boston.
I've never thought of it. 100% it's the only fucking place it goes.
We don't believe in going too far from home.
Oh God, yeah. I've never played one. I've never been in an audience on one. I mean, they say I say neither. I'm not talking shit on them, but I'm also not saying they look amazing. I can't tell you, but I've just. It
would take a really wild lineup for me to like want to be like. There's also those like wrestling cruises that are very similar, and I'm like, that sounds really? Like, yeah, like it sounds like a bad time. Like I love the idea of like, yeah, you know, escape from things, and you can go see shows all the time and meet people and all this shit. I need downtime, and I'm not. If you go on one of those cruises and you spend whatever amount of money it is to go on one of those things, and then you spend 80% of it in your cabin, like I could have did that at home.
Yeah, that's a waste of that's a waste at that
like,
point.
I don't know if you had like if you were to have a cruise that had like, I don't know, a sugar reunion with like Hot Water Music and Sam I Am and Against Me, and then for some reason Johnny Marr is playing. Like it needs to be everything I want.
Is that Johnny Marr over there?
Yeah. You're like, what? Like where? Jay Mascis is the musical curator for the thing. Like you make it so specific to my niche interests that only like me and 6 other people are gonna want to go.
You know what? I'm with you. I think that's what finally gets me on is one like that, to the point where I'm like, did they just like, are they watching me? Or are they like, how do they, who else would be into this but me?
Why is there a lifter puller reunion happening? Like, what?
The Bob Mould cruise is the only cruise I can think of now where, it's just like, it's Bob Mould and his closest friends bring you fucking a week of adventure and music.
That'd be so sick. He just performs with every band.
Oh, that'd be so dope.
It's like, okay, we're going to play New Day Rising. Okay, we're going to play Charter Trips. Okay, we're going to play, Crystal. Like, it's going to be fucking perfect.
I'd go to that. I'd go to, somehow he gets Paul Westerberg on there too. Paul Westerberg.
Oh, yeah.
You know what, though? Paul Westerberg is actually the captain of the ship. He doesn't even perform. That would be a Paul Westerberg thing. He gets his license or whatever you need to, like, drive a ship like that, but he doesn't perform at all.
No, he's for whatever reason he keeps stealing Tommy Stinson's clothes. It's like a bit that they have. Well, like Tommy Stinson is first mate, Paul Westerberg is the ship captain, Jay Mascis is the curator, and Bob Mould is the name of that's the festival. That's
fucking like the dream. Dream fucking festival, but that's the boat I want to be on. There's no other boat I want to be on.
They get that like Eazy-E hologram money, and then they just do a Marky Ramone set with holograms of Joey Didi and Johnny.
Oh, that's fucking amazing. That's what we need. Yeah, the that's what the money's into. They start getting the hologram musicians in there.
Yeah.
The Hoosker Doo reunion. We got hologram Grant Hart up there.
Greg Norton spends all this time cooking.
Oh, I forgot he owned that fucking restaurant.
Yeah, he's like a chef or something.
He's the chef, and Paul Westerberg is, he's driving the ship, and just neither of them, they just don't fucking play. Just no one's like,
It's like,
I played bass on Zen Arcade, but no, he's making lunch.
The idea in my head is they would go out seeking icebergs. Like, hey,
actually, imagine hanging an iceberg while fucking Bob Mold's like playing fucking oh god, what's the first song on Candy Apple Gray? I can't think of the fucking name of it. Crystal, yes, you mentioned earlier. Him playing Crystal while the fucking ship's going down would be pretty dope.
Celebrated summer as the boat is submerging underwater.
That might be finally. Paul Westerberg comes out in acoustic. Fucking Here Comes the Regular. Like lasts 30 seconds. Doesn't even fucking finish it.
Fucking, that is the song that if you put it on in a bar, you can tell who has feelings and who doesn't. Because if you have feelings, you are crying to that song.
You don't even have to know that song. I've played that for so many people who don't know the replacement. Go, who was that? Like they're like taken. I could play them all of Tim. They don't ask once what that was, and we get to that song. Like who is this? What is that?
That song and Skyway. Skyway does it too. If you play Skyway for someone that like has never heard it and they like only have like a loose caring of shit, most of the time they're like, what was that?
There's those certain songs, and I think as a songwriter you got to give, because like people who, obviously there's people in your life you can show music to and they love it and they want to hear stuff, but yeah, it's the people who could never give a fuck about music normally. It's background noise to them. And that grabs them. It's like, oh yeah, no, you're good. For them to even get their attention that way, you got to be on something.
There's, it's that I saw my girlfriend and I went to see a show in Toronto that was Weezer playing the Blue Album, Flaming Lips, and Dinosaur Jr.
Oh fuck! And I wanted to see that tour.
Yeah, I never need to see another Weezer set. They played 3 songs from Pinkerton and the B-side, You Gave Your Love to Me Softly, which is my favorite Weezer song. And then they played the Blue Album front to back. So I never need to see Weezer again. Dinosaur Jr. played like 8 songs and people were like pretty like, there were some heads that were there for it. And then there were folks who were kind of ambivalent to it. But there are moments in their set when they're playing and like you could see people perk up. They're playing the cover of Just Like Heaven, or like when they play The Wagon, all of a sudden it's just like it ramps up and people are like, oh, this song's really cool. And it's cool when like that actually works. You love the idea of like the cool opener playing the legacy band opening for the bigger band or whatever. Because like it gets some more exposure and shit, but like those guys don't care. But Jay Mascis was tuning his guitar actively in between every song, like you could hear it, and I was like, that guy's the best. Like that's so good. Doesn't give a fuck. Like
probably thinks it's funny. He probably thinks it's funny if he's alienating the crowd.
And I was like, I was waiting because they've done it before, but Damien from Fucked Up will perform Deep Wound songs with Dinosaur Jr. And if you don't know, and like, I was praying for it. I was like, I want these Weezer fans to see a Deep Wound cover, and it didn't happen. But like, they played Gargoyle. That's a deep cut from the first record, so like, it was good.
That's pretty dope. I also have to agree with you. I mean, if you heard all Blue Album and you heard a few off Pinkerton, including I'm With You, You Gave Your Love to Soft Me, one of my favorite fucking Weezer songs too. You don't need to go see them again play a mishmash of greatest hits. And, do you need to go hear Beverly Hills and a few songs off Ratitude?
I think they played Beverly. They did a bunch of songs before, and they
like
had
greatest
this,
hits set.
Kinda, yeah. They had this like stage set up where they were all astronauts, and then they entered the Pinkerton asteroid belt, and that's when they played the Pinkerton songs. And then because it was called The Journey to the Blue Planet, and then that's what it was. And then they ended up at the Blue Planet, And then they played the Blue album, and I was like, it was like CGI Star Trek on the screen. It was like very entertaining.
I don't know. They're just one of those bands. I have no special opinions. I feel like everybody else, but like a few amazing albums. Then it's like, are you just trolling us? Like, you know how to write a song. Why are there 10 co-writes on this fucking
There's
song? And
there's fucking wild shit about that band. Like apparently Rivers Cuomo does a syllable count for every song,
I
and it
believe it.
needs to have the same amount of syllables within a division of 4 so that it fits, because it's like perfect pop structure or something. And I'm like, you worked with fucking Rick Ocasek from the Cars. Why don't you just pick his brain?
This man is still, I think, making us all pay for Pinkerton not being successful.
Yeah.
I still think he's being vindictive. Like the fact that Weezer feels like a meme at times, it's like he's being like, nope, you don't want my heart on my sleeve? Fuck you. You're getting another Toto cover.
If they were to ever fully release the thing that came after Pinkerton before the Green album, it was a bunch of demos called the Summer 2K jams. They played Warped Tour that year and recorded all of their sets before they played. And there was like 30 songs on it, which you could absolutely whittle down to like Weezer albums at the time were like 8 or 9 songs, right? Like it's maybe 10, but like if 10, just 10. Like they could have whittled that shit down, and instead they're like, no, we're gonna do a song and the video's gonna have monkeys.
Yeah, that's what it became. It was just like, I think he truly is. He's like, I was too raw, so now I'm gonna give you. You don't like that? I'm going to the other extreme now.
Yeah,
which is just insane. Because those first 2 records are like perfect. I mean, I love those records. Are so good. They're so fucking
good. They're based on that's a band where like based on if you look at the whole catalog, those 2 records are better than if you're comparing the whole body of work, those 2 records are better than they have any fucking right to be. And you gotta wonder, like, if maybe that wasn't all Matt Sharp.
I was about to say, there's one difference here. One thing changes after those first 2 records.
And like, I would put Return of the Rentals up with like Frank Black's Teenager of the Year. Like those records are like awesome.
You got to give Matt Sharp. Yeah, Matt Sharp definitely he showed afterwards. Obviously, there's a body of work post Weezer where it's like that guy he had musical contributions, which mattered.
He did heavy lifting. Heavy lifting. He probably posed questions while they were constructing things that made the songs more interesting. Because that's how that works when you're pushing people. Like you're like, if you're just like, hey, what if this? And then you do it, and you're like, that's way better. Like
there's a weird, because like this is me going off. I have no clue what like Matt Sharp's relationship was with Rivers Cuomo and stuff, but like, even if they weren't maybe buddies or best friends, sometimes you need that other person in the band to go like you're saying. It's like, no, that's not great, or we should keep it to this. Like maybe they like, I don't know if Rivers just wants a yes man, or if they like weren't super agreeable or what, but that idea where maybe Matt's in there reining in certain things where it's like, no, you needed that. Rivers needed that. Apparently it's very obvious.
Well, and like how much of it is just the I mean, I guess this is part of a toxic masculine, because like unfortunately Weezer do kind of have that incel connection a little bit.
Yeah.
And you got to wonder if like the craving need for validation and like the idea of like the only way that you can feel validated now, because you got the legacy, you wrote those records that people will love, and they will like, they will go off on you for the rest of your life about how those records have changed their lives. So what's left? Oh, okay. I need a number 1 record. I need the whole world to tell me that they love me. And it's like, is that what it is?
It may be. It may be.
I
mean, you're on like, something there.
The dude wrote Pinkerton. Like, it doesn't seem like it would be too far out of the realm of reality,
I mean, the whole idea, like if he never wrote anything again, he would not be forgotten. He would still, there's still teenagers in decades to come. The teenagers will still be discovering those records, like those first 2.
People are going to fucking be learning to play that lick in Buddy Holly for the rest of time. Like that's modern day Stairway to Heaven, like
I was literally
90s.
about to say, like, the whole thing with, like, even like the Smoke on the Water and shit. It's gonna come at a
Yeah,
time where no one knows who Deep Purple is, but Say It Ain't So, that fucking riff, that's gonna be what you hear when you go into a Guitar Center and
yeah.
there's like a 15-year-old, their first fucking riff. That's what it's gonna be.
Yeah, it's good, and it already kind of is. Like the
It is
last
getting
time I
there.
was in a music store, it's all people playing Weezer riffs or Metallica.
Yeah, it's already moving to that where it's like they're
Yeah,
like, who's Deep Purple? Smoke on, like, what song? What are you
yeah.
talking about?
Sweet Child of Who?
Yeah, Sweet Child of Who? No, it is. I mean, it's the whole thing where people are like, Nirvana eventually becomes classic rock because it does. It was
Oh,
whatever came
that
decades before.
that okay, I was a huge Nirvana fan in high school. Like that's
Same.
the Nirvana and Green Day are why I like started learning guitar. And I was such a fucking deep nerd about all of that shit. Like I could tell you the gear used on different records, and I knew how to play every song. Like the first song I like ever played live in front of people was at a high school talent show. We played a version of Sappy. So like I even did like deep cut shit. Like I was so into it. And then like uh somebody recently was like, did you know that In Utero came out 22 years ago? And I was like, I think that makes it classic rock. And then everything just kind of like melted under me for a second where I was like, oh, reality is crumbling.
Oh yeah, no, that will eventually be the I don't know, I can't even think like I don't know, when I think of really, really old alternative and really old shit, I think of still Velvet Underground and like Lou Reed and the Stooges and shit.
Stooges, MC5,
Yep,
Def,
yep.
New York Dolls,
Fuck yeah. Yeah, all of
all
those
of
to
that shit.
me.
That's and like that's the starting point. But I think it's because we're tracing back to the origins of punk,
You're
and
right.
punk is this, this innocuous blob that keeps shifting off into different ways. But like I mean, I got some records recently. Static Shock, which is a label in the UK, has a Canadian distro now, so I can like get stuff.
Oh, nice.
But before that, I bought a copy of Flip Your Wig by Husker Du, and I got Hatful of Hollow by the Smiths. And I listened to that Smiths record like every day.
Oh,
And
fuck
like
yeah.
I Morrissey sucks, obviously. Morrissey sucks. But like those songs and the guitar playing and the like, it's pushy but not, and like it kind of makes me like get up and do shit with my day. But like um that band is like a bajillion years old now. Like their
It is,
first record came out before I was born. Like, okay.
but see, now that's where I lose people because, like, because you're the same, like, where you weren't there, you didn't see the MC5 fucking play in the 60s, early 70s. Like, you and I both went and found the things that came before us. So I guess my thing is, I can never wrap my head around people who don't go further back than, like, Dookie or something. It's like, well, that's great. You like Green Day. I like Green Day too. Dookie's a great record, but aren't you interested in what came before? Like, I want
It's
to know.
uh Dookie, the pipeline of Dookie to Kerplunk to Operation Ivy.
You got to learn that
Like
shit.
that's getting a copy of Dude Ranch when I was like 6th grade and looking at the liner notes, and they thank Face to Face and the Descendants. And then I was like, who are the Descendants? And then you go back and you fucking learn it. And then as you're learning it, you like learn about the Last and Black Flag and Circle Jerks and that whole LA scene. And it's just this like, it's like a self-taught, like, education, like you're on an educational journey to be like, I know a thing I like for whatever mood I am in.
Yes.
To the point where it's almost paralyzing sometimes, where you're like, I can't make a decision. I could go this way. I could go this way.
And I can't not think that way. Like, I'm with you. Like, I got to know I mean, that's how I found Descendants and all of them was like, I like what I've been saying. I don't know if this makes sense. Like, Blink-182 and Green Day are like wine coolers. And like, you don't start with hard liquor. You got to start off with like a fucking wine cooler or something. You then get into harder, like fucking shit. But kids, I don't blame a 14-year-old who doesn't get into crass right away. Let them get into other things and make their way to that. You need those entry-level bands.
If you're going to be like, and also like, if it speaks a lot to somebody's character, if they're the kind of person that like gives somebody shit for liking an easy band, like a band that writes good to great songs that everybody loves, that they have this huge legacy, like all this shit. I understand the urge to gatekeep and the urge to like be like, no, you got to listen to the cool shit. You can make that suggestion, but if somebody like loves Nevermind, it's the best record they've ever heard. They don't want to listen to anything else. You can tell them about the Pixies. You can tell them about the Replacements, and you can fucking tell them that like they stole a bunch of shit from Killing Joke. Like you can go through all of this, and they still don't care. They just want to listen to the thing they like. And like, I mean, that's unfortunately that's kind of where I differ. And I'm just like, I need to know everything about everything, please.
That's how I feel. But you're right. But still, like, and I'm with you. You can never. I don't think you can ever force someone like trying to even try that shit. Was like that's not going to make the person go, oh my god, let me burn my records and listen to what you want me
Why?
to. That's
Why
not
would
going to
you?
happen.
It happens a lot with like I feel like bands like Fall Out Boy get this, or My Chem, or Taking Back Sunday, or any of those bands that were like in the early part of the emo, the quote unquote eyeliner emo thing.
Yeah.
You know, people give people shit for liking those bands, but like, okay, so almost all those bands were on the Tony Hawk's American Wasteland soundtrack,
Oh
covering
fuck
old
yeah.
school punk bands.
That soundtrack rules.
Alkaline Trio covering TSOL, like hell yeah. But like, you know, Taking Back Sunday doing Suburban Home and I Like Food, and My Chem doing Astro Zombies, and Thursday covering the Buzzcocks, like
Fuck yeah, such a good
that's
cover.
oh yeah, and like that's how you learn that shit. Fall Out Boy did a Gorilla Biscuits cover, like
That's right. They'd
oh,
start today, I
they
believe,
did
on
start
there.
today, yeah, and you're like, oh wait, okay, so they like this stuff too, and we're all kind of drawing from the same void, you know.
And I
It's
think you
just
eventually get there yourself. I just don't think you push it on people. Like let kids know about that, but they'll naturally, hopefully, go like, "Who's this Jawbreaker? Who's this
yeah,
fucking?
exactly.
Who's Gorilla Biscuits?" You
Yeah,
know.
and like that's the curiosity that like I don't know. That's always the thing, right? Like you can almost judge uh like the quality of a person's character by how curious about the world they are. And like curious about the world and like, you know, form their own opinions but maybe don't necessarily cram them down people's throats. And when it comes to like shit like that, I'm just like, oh, like I work at a cafe during the day when I'm not bartending. And I was listening to there's a band from Edmonton called Homefront. Homefront are awesome. And I was listening to their record that came out called Games of Power. And there was a patron in the cafe who runs a goth night here who came up and was like, who is this band? And I was like, oh, this is the song and this is the band. They're from Edmonton. It's like, if you want any more recommendations, here's a Chain Cult. They're a band from Greece. They like, you know, fit in the same kind of wheelhouse. And she was like, thank you for the recommendations. I'm
I
like,
love that.
that's the person that would Shazam the song.
Yeah, that, and again, going even back to that, I love those are the people you want interested because they give a shit. I mean, it goes further than one song or a fleeting. Oh, that was neat. They actually figured out who it was because they want
Yeah,
to hear more. You know,
absolutely.
no, I'm more of that way with music. I mean, that's how you. That's what people are like. How do you know all this music stuff? It's like because you just start with. I didn't know it. Nirvana was one of my favorite bands as a teenager, and so was Weezer and Blink-182. They are not obscure. You just find out what they liked, and you go from there. I'm not magical. I didn't have something. You know what I mean? There's not some secret book I have no one else has. It's called the fucking liner notes of an album that you enjoy.
Well, and that's exactly it. And it's like, you know, and that stuff, once you trace it back to a certain point, then you realize that there are shows in your neighborhood and you can go do stuff. And then you like integrate yourself and it becomes this whole blossoming thing. And it like, in some cases, it's like, it gives you a very robust social circle. And everybody's kind of speaking the same language to varying degrees. And like, you know, it's cool. It's community building.
No, I love that side of music. I love that thing. I think it's good too because then you hear people find that and go, oh well, there's smaller bands or also I don't know. I'm into Blink, but like look when they played clubs and look at the bands they played with. Like they weren't always massive. It's that thing where it's like it also like shows you that it's like oh yeah, none of these people were magical. Look at Green Day was playing. Go look at the Lookout discography. Do you like Green Day? There's a bunch of bands that are in that vein that were label mates with them. You'll fucking love it. You
And
will love
then
it.
and then you accidentally buy the Avail CD. and then that pivots you off into the other thing. Like that's having so much music at our fingertips now. Like I remember the days when you would hear about songs, or you would hear them once, or they'd be in a skate video or something, and then you're like, you spent like 3 or 4 years seeking it out, like trying to find what you had heard. Like, I remember hearing "Now I Want to Sniff Some Glue" in a skating video in grade 7, and it wasn't until like probably 3 years later that I knew more than the lyrics to that song.
It's crazy to think about that shit now. Like now you just Shazam it. You'd Shazam it. You'd have the whole first fucking Ramones record in your hand.
It's there. And then you're like, oh, wait, everyone else was in on the joke. Like it feels like somebody's finally letting you in on the joke when you found it. And now it's just like, everybody knows the joke, but you choose to weld it however however it feels best.
I fucking love that. I love it because I guess what we're talking about is like the things that, not that I forget them, but it reminds me why I love music and why I like just nerding out on it like this. Where I'm just like, why wouldn't you want to know the band that bass player was in before this band, and whatever weird obscure band had one EP and you can only get a 45 of this band and they didn't do anything else. I love that shit. I eat that shit up constantly.
And like when you can do it with the big bands into the small bands, when you're like,
Slapstick's the big one, right? Slapstick's the one where all the degrees.
Yeah, the Tree. I've seen the Tree. But I was going to say even stuff like, I mean, Zach De La Rocha from Rage Against the Machine was in a fucking straight edge band.
He was on Revelation Records. Like that dude was in a fucking Rev band.
Yeah, like, okay, that's weird. I think it's cute, but maybe it's annoying. I've been playing this game with my partner where I just ask her questions, like random shit, but a lot of music stuff. And we were like, what is the worst song of the 90s, or the worst band of the 90s? Because like as much good as there is in that era, there's a lot of terrible shit.
Talking about the 80s.
Yeah, exactly. And we came to a mutual, we are on the same page, and it was very nice. But the Red Hot Chili Peppers are the worst band of the 90s.
I can stand behind that.
Yeah, white boy funk. No, thank you.
You know, I had a discussion about this recently because I did like them as a teenager. Not long ago, I went back to listen to them. I didn't understand it. Nothing clicked to me. Nothing clicked when I went back.
I remember like the first time, Californication came out when I was in high school, and that was a big record, and like the videos were always on Much Music, and like, I know those songs. And then I had a roommate in university, and they were his favorite band. And at one point, it just all started sounding like gibberish.
It is
like
most of it is.
It's musical gibberish. And then I read his book, and he comes off as like such a creep.
Oh yeah, Scar Tissue.
Oh, the opening scene where he's like, I have a young woman inject me with ozone every day.
Yeah, that's how it started. Like, I read that in fucking high school. It was like the beginning of the book.
Yeah. And I was like, oh, this dude is fucked. Like, this is a fucked up thing to do. And, sometimes time proves you right.
Yeah, I'm telling you, I'm with you there. I'll admit, I liked them as again, that was 15 years ago. But like now, a few months ago, I tried going back and listening. I'm like, what did I ever? I can listen to old shit. I don't listen to Nirvana on a daily basis, but I go back and listen to Nirvana. Like, oh yeah, I get it. I get why this was so big to me. I don't get it with Red Hot Chili Peppers. Nothing connects.
No, and like, I like a lot of John Frusciante's solo stuff. I think like the musicians in that band are all very talented.
Flea was in fucking all the punk, connections and shit. But all better bands than the Red Hot Chili Peppers.
He
was in fucking Fear.
Like what? And but John Frusciante has a project with Joe Lowley from Fugazi called Ataxia. Yeah, it's an electronic project called Ataxia. And it's like cool and weird. And I'm like, okay, so I like this for a bunch of reasons, but like you're still, giving it away.
I mean, to be honest, I love tons of the bands that influenced them. I mean, I like a lot of the stuff they were influenced by, but yeah, not them themselves. I could probably have a great conversation about music with them. They'd know the musicians they've played with, the influences and stuff. I'm sure we could talk music but the product that they made out of it, yeah, no, not at all.
And also, like, it is. I know they're different bands, but like, In Living Color is a much better band than the Red Hot Chili
Oh, and Living
Peppers.
Color goes fucking hard.
And
Living
they
Color is
like,
good.
and they like, you know, they're just doing a better version of that shit.
It's never sounds like gibberish when I hear it. When I'm listening to Red Hot Chili Peppers, guy, he fucking made that word up. That's not real. What the fuck you just said? That's not real.
When all the jokes about them saying California too many times, you're like, it's a joke because he does. Like,
oh yeah, no, it came from a real place. No one pulled that out of their ass.
Yeah,
like that really he does.
Yeah.
So no Red Hot Chili Pepper covers on the next solo record that you're working on.
No.
You know how this one you said you got one cover in the middle, you got like a pop, like the next one, it's like all of a sudden it's like, wait, is that Under the Bridge? Is that the opening to Under the Bridge?
Oh, see, the funny thing would be committing to the bit and actually doing that, but instead the next record has a song that somehow manages to be the catchiest song I've written so far, and also the saddest song I've ever written so far, and it's called
That's some Smith shit.
Yeah, it's called I'm Sorry I'm Tired.
I fucking
yeah. Like I've been playing it live a little bit, and I'm just like, people are like, yeah, and I'm like, you're all depressed. You're all depressed.
I will say, and I'm not a huge Smiths guy, but like, I mean, as you're talking about him, I do like the fucking like major chords and sad shit. I do like when people do that. I do like that part where it sounds happy and it's sad as fuck when you listen lyrically.
The thing that's wild is like the record I got, some of the songs are from like John Peel sessions and 7 Inches and other stuff. The bass playing on those songs where it intertwines with the guitar stuff is like, that's maybe the coolest thing about it. Like, give or take, the melodies are like, Morrissey's lyrics are sometimes really cringy and awful, and but like the bass doing like a totally separate thing to the guitar, and then somehow they just like harmoniously become this like weave together thing.
It's like, love that kind of stuff.
It's so fucking cool. And then I'm just like, oh, these are people who have like, these are professionals. These are the people that should be making $1 million every day.
Oh yeah, no, that musicianship, I could never say otherwise. But I love that, like you're saying, picking them apart. It's like the replacements. Like I think Paul Westerberg even said it, but listening back, he was like talking about listening to old masters and like he couldn't pick apart him and Bob Stinson's parts. He's just like, they weave together. And that's what I love. It just becomes like one musical idea. Like these two people connect in this way where you almost can't pick apart the guitar playing. It's all just one thing in the most beautiful way.
It's why it like, you know, Don't Tell a Soul. It sounds like two guitar players, but Tim sounds like one person playing guitar twice. Like it's
with
wild.
Bob and Paul.
Yeah,
and I love that. I love that and he's kind of right. Like when I listen to him, you do have to start kind of picking it apart. It's not like you listen instantly and go, "Oh, I can tell that's Paul or that's Bob." Like it takes a minute.
Well, and like Paul really in a lot of those songs had a tendency to use open tunings, and Bob Stinson would play in standard, and so then like they're doing the same chords but different voicings, and the different voicings on them make it sound like this cool wall of just like jangle shit.
Then it makes it impossible to try to go play. Then when you try to play it on guitar, you're like, why the fuck does this not sound right? And I think part of it's that.
Try to learn Answering Machine. I've been struggling with that for a long time because I'm just like, I don't want to put my guitar in the tuning to make it easy, so I like am trying the hard way, and I'm like, this is way too fucking hard.
I think there's a reason Can't Hardly Wait gets covered so much. I mean, it's a great song, don't get me wrong, but I also think it's like one of the more straightforward where it's like, we can kind of pull this off. Because there's a lot of them where I'm like, I can't figure out the tuning. I don't know I can't figure this out to make it sound like that.
So the first solo show I ever played, I did a cover of Alex Chilton. And Alex Chilton is in like open A. And instead of putting it in open A, I capoed it on the 2nd fret and just like made up the chords, but it sounded good enough.
Oh, nice.
And I tried to relearn it a couple months ago, and I was like, this is not happening. Like, whatever I did at the time made sense to me, but it no longer makes sense to me.
I feel like a lot of the replacements parts, I feel like if you talk to them, be like, yeah, I pulled that out of my ass in the studio. I could never replicate that. Like Tommy Stinson, like, I don't know how I played that. I just played it, and don't ask me to do it again.
Yeah, that's I'm actually trying to relearn songs of this record to play because there's like 4 or 5 of them that I've never played live before. And the second last song is a song called Party Fault. And it's like kind of a different energy. It's supposed to be a 2-part song with the last song where it kind of starts off like really somber and sad and then turns into a song about being not alive. So like, but like happy about it. Um, and I was relearning it today. I was at a friend's house and just like trying to play it and knowing that like with the limitations I have as a musician, I wouldn't be doing anything too weird or too complicated, but like, knowing where it starts, knowing if there's a capo that needs to be used or like whatever. And it took me like a half hour to figure that I had played it with a capo. I was like doing this weird shit with my hands, and I was like, this is not, I can't imagine I recorded a whole song with my hand in this position. That seems like weird for me. And it was because I forgot to do the thing that makes everything easier.
It is I don't know, I could say of like songs that I've written throughout the years, it is funny because you would think that you only get better as a musician with time, but I've had things that I've written that I try to go play and I go, what the fuck did I do? I don't know how to play this. Like, it makes me feel dumb.
There are things that I used to play with ease, or like there's Fat Stupid songs that like I would do like intricate bass lines and harmonies at the same time. And when I try to play them now, it's like my hands don't work. I'm like, how did I used to do this? Like there's a song in particular called Island, and there's a video of us playing it online and we crush it. It's way faster, all this shit. I'm just like, who's that person? like I'm not her anymore. It's too much work.
It's fucking wild when that happens. You would just think that like the older songs are the ones you could just, oh yeah, drop of a hat, I'll fucking play that. I'll play like nothing. But yeah, no, sometimes it's not that way.
No, and like also like sometimes it makes you take stock on the thing that you were doing at the time. So it ends up being like, oh yeah, I was taking a lot of amphetamines at that time. And then you're like, oh yeah, that's probably why you were playing way too fast.
That explains it.
That explains it.
Well, fuck. I mean, Matty, we got the new solo record, but I mean, as it already sounds like you got other stuff going on. I mean, what else in the near future here? You know, what do you got for like the rest of 2025? What's coming up in the world of Matty Grace?
So physical copies of Cheap Shame, we'll have those whenever Dirt Cult announces it and they get them. Zeal is also doing a vinyl release for the full length we put out last year, and nice. We're also going to be on a 4-way split with some other like crusty D-beat bands from Canada. Ooh. And Crisis Party has a full length coming out called Modern Survival. So that's kind of that stuff. Playing some fests in the summer, looking to do some touring. I have a show, I don't know when this is coming out, but I have a show April 23rd in Ottawa at a bar called Avant Garde, and it's with this band from Vancouver called Water Margin. And they're a cool band. They just got a Pitchfork review of like 7.6 or 7.58 or something. Oh, and yeah. Like, yeah, like the kind of shit in that 2008 people would have been like, did we have to go see this band? So like, you know, hipsters unite, retired hipsters unite. So like it's Water Margin and this band Tree of Smoke, who are like really cool. Crisis Party played with them a little while ago, and James, their front person, is like one of my favorite people. And I describe them as like if My Bloody Valentine got to the point. I love My Bloody Valentine, but there are moments where you're like, this is going on a little long.
A little too long.
Yeah, they've got more traditional pop structures, and then Male Nurse, which is Davey and myself, are doing a versus solo set because the band we played together got asked to play and we couldn't do it. So the plan tentatively is we'll play a song together, we'll each play some of our own songs, and then we'll end with a song. And nice. Yeah, and I think we're going to close it with a cover of Do You Still Hate Me?
Oh, fuck yeah.
Yeah. Because we were like,
That's a
what if we did Celebrated Summer as the opening cover and Do You Still Hate Me as the last one? He's like, it kind of covers all the bases. And we're like, yep, it sure fucking does.
some solid fucking covers.
Yeah.
You're always good with the covers though. You're always pretty good with the covers there and choices.
I did Do You Still Hate Me at a karaoke once, and it was, I love that song is like 2 minutes long. Cause like I'll get up and perform and stuff, but like I kind of suck at karaoke. It's like a thing. You got to be flashy and perform. And I usually just put a hood up and do the thing and like kind of like do this a little bit, like move my head back and forth. And I was just there was this karaoke in Halifax that they do that weirdly Alan Tudyk was at a couple weeks ago. Filming a movie, I guess, and he came to the gay karaoke.
Just guys showed up.
Yeah. But I was like, yeah, the last time I was there, I was like, fuck it. I'll do You Still Hate Me by Jawbreaker. And then I did it and I was like, none of these people know what just happened. I was a smoke break. like I was I was a smoke break, yes.
God damn, I've been losing my mind. If I was there, I've been losing my shit to some Jawbreaker.
And that's the thing, is like, if you know, you know.
If you would have had a few, even if you had 3 people in there who would have gotten it, they would have lost their shit. Yeah. Like, that's one of those, may not be the whole crowd, but the few in there, oh, fuck yeah. They're losing their shit at it.
If you get it, like, that's for you. Like, one of the cluttered shows, we played this, like, industry showcase in Nova Scotia, and a person who used to live in Ottawa who played a band called John Creedon and the Flying Hellfish. His name is John Creedon, but the Hellfish put out a record on Dead Broke, and John's one of my favorite songwriters. I get to play in the Hellfish now. It's like Tony from Crisis Party and myself and Kieran, who played bass for him for a long time. And when he's in town, we get to play together, and it's great. But when we were in Sydney, Nova Scotia, he lives just outside of that. And we were like, come do one of your songs with Cluttered, because we're playing an industry showcase, and they put like such a huge emphasis on showcasing your talents and yourself or whatever, that I was like, no, I want to uplift my friends, and I want people here to know that there are excellent songwriters here. And so the Hellfish have a song called Nail Biter. Nail Biter is like, I hold that song in high regard. It's an excellent song. And so we played it full band, and John's just like dancing and singing and having a good time. And it was just, people were like, who's this guy? And I was like, if you were paying any attention at all, like if you knew that, like when the Hellfish and Future Girls played together like 4 years before that, and we had a fucking snowball fight, like if you know the lore and you know how far stuff back goes, like how far back things go, like that shit's fun.
I'm with you. I like, again, it goes back to the same appreciation of just knowing fucking where, music comes from or the influences and stuff.
Yeah.
That I like knowing the behind the scenes. I like knowing the connections there. I feel like it comes from the same place. Deep
rooted special interest. You got to dive deep.
I fucking love it. Matty, I mean, you're staying busy with the new, great job. The new solo record is great.
Thank you.
You're obviously doing lots with your other bands. Anything else coming up? Did we miss anything else you have coming up? Which this will air by that, because this will air next week. So do you have any other shows within April? Because if you do, feel free to announce.
Party is playing Monday, April 14th with Fan Club from Seattle. And Piff, Fan Club used to be a band called Lysol, and then they got a cease and desist and changed their name. They're awesome. They're so cool. And so that's coming up. There's a really cool festival that I'm, I guess, sort of helping with a little bit, that I've played a handful of times. It's in July in Ottawa, called Side by Side Weekend. And the lineup this year is going to be really, really cool. And it's the festival that was started by the drummer in Crisis Party, Anthony Cardozo. And he cares so much, and he wants it to be so good. And I just I want to see my friend succeed, and he will, because it's going to rule. So I'm participating in that. There's a couple things that are not announced yet that might be cool. we'll see if they happen.
Fuck yeah.
But yeah, I'm mostly just trying to play some shows. I took kind of a lot of the winter off, and it wasn't great for my brain. It kind of made me like, I'm sensitive to low light already, and then it was just like, oh, I'm just like sad and I have no purpose. So now I'm like, sun's coming out, I should play some shows.
You're getting back to it.
Yeah, exactly.
Fuck yeah. Fuck yeah. Well, where should we I mean, now plug time, where should we send people for the new record? Where do we find you online?
Everything's at Matty Disgrace, MattyDisgrace. That's Instagram and Blue Sky and Threads, I think. I don't know. There's a lot of social media stuff. And you can get the record on Bandcamp, on my Bandcamp, which is mattygrace.bandcamp.com, or the Dirt Cult Bandcamp, which is dirtcultrecords.bandcamp.com. But everything's on streaming services. And here's the thing. I want to play more shows. So if somebody out there hears this and is like, hey, it'd be really cool if you came, tell me. I don't know where I should go. Help me out,
I like that idea because we're not, I mean, obviously people can be listening from anywhere with the podcast part, but I mean, again, Jamestown, as I've told you, I'm really like 90 minutes away from the Canadian border. Like, we're not terribly far away.
No,
you know what I mean?
And if crossing the border wasn't so scary right now, I would be very open to doing that. I couldn't get a work visa now if I wanted to.
Fuck.
Yeah.
I know, because I would love to see you here. I would love to fucking get you here into the States.
I want to play in Toronto, so like,
hey, that's close enough. We could always, people listening to this, we always get to Toronto. Toronto's like 3.5 hours from Jamestown. It's like 3.5.
It's funny because when I lived in the Maritimes, like to play a show in Montreal, you have to drive like 16 hours. And when I toured Europe in 2016 with Weekend Dads, people were appalled when the drive was longer than like an hour and a half. And I was like, you have no idea. You have no idea.
I hear that sometimes where it's like, oh yeah, no, it's not that way with the States. Like, I mean, it'll take you to drive through just some like certain states. Like, it'll take a whole goddamn day to drive through it.
Yeah, absolutely.
No, it's fucking, I don't know, that part, I like traveling, but sometimes it can be a bit much. Yeah. I learned, you were the one who told me before I went through Canada that not a lot of small towns and stuff in between the cities. A lot of you're the one who told me that, and then I found out.
I wasn't trying to like impart like scary wisdom. It was more of just a like, you're going to see a lot of spooky farmhouses.
You weren't lying.
No.
And mooses. I've never seen a place down here. It's deer. You gotta watch out for deer in the road. Up there, I almost hit fucking like 3 moose at 3 a.m. Like what the fuck's coming up in the road? They're scary.
They're scary. They're so big, and they are wildly aggressive. Like I've seen people like moose charge at car swerves round moose. Like I've seen that shit. Yeah, it's fucking wild.
I mean, that to me, I will tell you, that's something I mean, maybe there's a few really rural places in the U.S. that I've seen that, but like not where it was just the norm up there. It was just like I saw it all over driving through Canada. Like it wasn't weird to just see fucking moose go across the interstate. It almost hit one.
It just, you're like, like in the Maritimes specifically, there are signs that if you were driving after dark, beware of moose. And like, they have fences like hidden and like just a little bit pushed back like the whole way. But like a fence doesn't stop a moose unless it really wants to. Like
I wouldn't imagine. A moose is one of those things where it's like if a moose is like why bears scare me. I'm like, if a bear wants to fuck you up or get into your house or whatever it wants, I think a bear's just gonna do it. I don't think there's a lot to stop it.
What was it? Tommy Boy or Black Sheep, one of those Chris Farley movies where they hit a moose and then it comes to like a line.
Oh yeah, I think it was Tommy Boy.
I mean, that should have scared me enough. But then you see them in real life and you're like, eep.
It's not all fiction.
No, those things are big.
Well, fuck. I mean, hopefully, people listen to this, go see Matty live, check out the new solo record. But I mean, anything else as we close this out? Have we missed anything? Anything else we should let people know?
I don't know. Things are like really fucked up right now, right? Like,
yeah,
in general, and like the it seems like the only way forward in the face of this like overt return to fascism is like taking care of the people you love and trying to be nice to people, and just like recognize that there are a lot of people who are out there who may want to cause harm, but know that ultimately there are more of us than there are of them.
Fuck yeah. Fuck yeah. I like that. Well, fuck. I mean, if you're listening to the radio show, we got 3 hours. We'll play all of Cheap Shame now. We got enough time. So if you're listening to the radio show, if not, go fucking grab that record. Go to Bandcamp, grab that record. But yeah, I'm sure we'll do it again soon. Fifth appearance next time.
Fifth time. 5 times.
Which, since we do it yearly, that means that'll be 5 years you've been on the show.
Holy shit.
Just half the show turns 10 next year, which means that's half the show's existence.
I mean, I'll take it. Like this week you posted, you're like, I'm interviewing Matty at Blank Dahlia. I was like, that's really cool company.
Yeah, you're both returning guests. Just you and Blag. Just come on. Always fun. You're always fun to both chat with. He doesn't talk like I don't think he knows about wrestling like you do. You know more about fucking wrestling. We talked a little bit about this time. Last time we got even more.
Didn't a member of the Dwarves wear like a luchador mask?
Yeah, their old guitar player did, but
yeah,
I didn't hear Blag once reference fucking wrestling or Simpsons. Didn't make one fucking Simpsons reference.
Well,
that's bullshit.
That's you got to give some people a pass because he's just like the generation before, you know.
That's good point. Good point. You know what? He did a song for SpongeBob SquarePants, so he made up.
Yeah, of course. That's like that weird John Mulaney show on Netflix where they had the punk rock like.
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
And it's just like Lee Vig's like scene stealing the whole time, and you're like, is this what like this is how people think I am? like and I am like totally like we're all just cartoon characters.
Well, fuck yeah. I would love to say I want to interview Lee Ving, but I interviewed someone who interviewed Lee Ving in the 80s, and he said he was not very nice.
No, I can't imagine he doesn't seem like the most personable person.
No, but I kind of thought maybe not that it was a bit, but I asked the person who interviewed him, I'm like, well, was he just on? Like, was Lee Ving just being Lee Ving? But he was like, no, he was just kind of like not nice, just not cool, which bummed me out.
Yeah, of course. All I can think of is maybe he needed more beer.
That's the fucking way to end it. With that, I'm Anthony Merchant talking to Matty Grace right here on the Power Chord.